Picture this: two worlds on a collision course. On one side, the mighty Persian Empire, the largest the world had ever seen, stretching from India to Africa, a superpower with seemingly endless resources. On the other, a scattered collection of small, fiercely independent Greek city-states, constantly squabbling amongst themselves. This wasn't just a war. It was a clash of ideologies, the will of an absolute monarch versus the radical idea of freedom. It's a story of legendary battles like Marathon, Thermopylae, and Salamis. But more than that, this conflict would decide the very future of Western civilization. Our story begins not in Greece, but across the Aegean Sea, in a region called Ionia. Greek cities there had fallen under Persian rule, and they were feeling the pressure. Heavy taxes, puppet tyrants installed by Persia, the resentment was boiling over, so they rebelled. And who came to their aid? A small, democratic city-state called Athens. The Athenians sent ships and soldiers, and together with the Ionians, they marched on the regional Persian capital of Sardis and burned it to the ground. When the Persian king, Darius the Great, heard the news, he was furious. He reportedly had a servant whisper in his ear 3 times at every meal, "Master, remember the Athenians." Revenge was sworn, and the countdown to invasion had begun. In 490 BC, Darius made his move. A massive Persian fleet sailed across the Aegean, intent on punishing Athens. They landed on a beach just 26 miles from the city, at a place called Marathon. The Athenians and their allies were hopelessly outnumbered. The Persian strategy was simple: crush the small Greek army and then march on the undefended city. But the Greeks had a secret weapon, the phalanx, a tight formation of heavily armed soldiers with long spears and overlapping shields. In a stroke of genius, the Greek commander weakened his center and strengthened his flanks. As the Persians charged forward, the Greek wings enveloped them, turning the tide of battle. It was a shocking, unbelievable victory for the Greeks. A legend says a runner named Phidippides ran the entire distance to Athens, shouted, "We have won," and then dropped dead, giving us the modern marathon race. This victory sent a powerful message: the great Persian Empire was not invincible. 10 years later, the Persians returned. King Darius had died, but his son, Xerxes, was determined to finish what his father started and avenge Persia's honor. This time, there would be no mistakes. Xerxes assembled one of the largest armies ever seen in the ancient world. To get them to Greece, he did the unthinkable. He built 2 massive pontoon bridges across the Hellespont, a mile-wide strait, essentially building a highway over the sea. He had canals dug and roads built, creating a supply chain to support his vast forces. As this colossal army and navy began its slow, terrifying march towards Greece, a wave of fear swept through the city-states. This wasn't just an army. It was a force of nature, and it was coming to erase Greece from the map. Faced with this overwhelming threat, the Greeks knew they couldn't win a straight fight. They had to choose their ground carefully. Their choice was a narrow coastal pass called Thermopylae, the Hot Gates. It was so narrow that the massive Persian army couldn't use its numbers to its advantage. Here, a small force of Greeks, led by 300 Spartans under their king, Leonidas, made their stand. For 3 days, this tiny band of warriors held back the entire Persian army, inflicting devastating casualties. They fought with a courage that stunned the invaders, but their heroic stand was doomed by betrayal. A local Greek named Ephialtes showed the Persians a secret mountain path that led behind the Greek lines. Surrounded and with no hope of escape, Leonidas and his Spartans fought to the last man, creating a legend of sacrifice that has echoed through history. With Thermopylae fallen, the road to Athens was wide open. The Greek strategy hinged on their navy, so they made a heart-wrenching decision: abandon Athens. The entire population was evacuated to the nearby island of Salamis. When Xerxes and his army marched into the city, they found it empty. In a fit of rage and to make a symbolic point, Xerxes ordered the city, including its sacred temples on the Acropolis, to be burned to the ground. For the Greeks watching from across the water, Seeing their city in flames was their darkest moment. It looked like all was lost. Persia had won, and the cradle of democracy was reduced to ashes. But one Athenian leader, Themistocles, had a plan. He knew the only hope was to lure the massive Persian navy into a decisive battle in a place where their numbers would be a disadvantage. He sent a fake message to Xerxes, pretending to be a traitor. The message claimed the Greek fleet was demoralized and planning to flee. Xerxes, arrogant and eager for a final victory, fell for it completely. He ordered his fleet to block the exits of the narrow straits of Salamis to trap the Greeks. Just as Themistocles planned, the huge Persian fleet crowded into the confined waters. Suddenly, the seemingly trapped Greek ships, smaller and more maneuverable, turned and attacked. In the chaos, the Persian ships couldn't move. They crashed into each other, becoming easy targets for the bronze-rammed Greek triremes. By the end of the day, the Persian navy was shattered. Xerxes, watching from a golden throne on a nearby hill, could only look on in horror as his invincible fleet was destroyed. The victory at Salamis was a massive turning point, but the war wasn't over. Xerxes returned to Persia, but he left behind a huge portion of his army under his top general, Mardonius, to finish the conquest the following year. The final showdown came in 479 BC on the plains of Plataea. This time, the Greek city-states truly united. An army led by the Spartans, with a large contingent from Athens and other cities, assembled to face the remaining Persian forces. It was one of the largest land battles of the entire war, a brutal, head-on clash of hoplite phalanxes against Persian infantry and cavalry. After a hard-fought battle, the Greeks were victorious. Mardonius was killed, and the Persian army was decisively defeated, ending the invasion of Greece for good. The Persian threat was gone. For Greece, the victory was transformative. The confidence of the city-states, especially Athens, soared. They had faced the world's greatest power and won. To ensure Persia could never threaten them again, Athens formed the Delian League, an alliance of Greek states. This alliance quickly evolved into an Athenian empire, and the wealth that poured in funded an unprecedented cultural explosion. This was the beginning of Athens' golden age, the era of Pericles, the construction of the Parthenon, the plays of Sophocles and Euripides, and the philosophies of Socrates and Plato. The war had not just secured Greece's survival, it had unleashed its full potential. So why do we say this war changed history? Because if the Greeks had lost, the world we live in today would be completely different. The Persian victory would have extinguished the flickering flame of Athenian democracy. The revolutionary ideas of individual liberty, citizen government, rational inquiry, and scientific thought might have been lost forever. The philosophical, artistic, and political foundations of Western civilization, born in ancient Greece, survived because a handful of city-states refused to bow to an empire. Their victory ensured that the legacy of Greece would endure, shaping the future for millennia to come. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories that shaped our world. See you next time.